Yeah, Jan from Africa Pro side, thanks for the time, and what an honor to have you participating in Africa Pro. And we're quite surprised to see that you already in 2023 season have great success. You win the Fancier of the Race competition already twice, and we're only like two and a half weeks into the new racing season. What would you contribute your successes to? What for the season?
It's also a little bit, let's say luck. You must have good pigeons, but in the beginning, it couldn't happen that you don't have any success, and at the end, in the final or the last races, you're coming up, and now it's in the front races. So I'm very glad to hear that. But I always think, okay, when the form is now, I hope to have it at the end. So.
Yes.
But I'm very glad with that.
Yes. No, and you have also a very good season so far back at home, in particular in your Belgian loft.
Yeah, that's great. We have in the beginning of the season we have a northeast wind, and we did a great success there with very good prices, and also the first national. There was an incident why they took it out, but. The pigeon has for me has the result there, and he was already first last year and also fourth last year national, so it's a very good one. But then the wind changed and we go to Mol, and it was unbelievable. We have there a lot of pigeons in the top 10 and top 100, and also the first national. And a few weeks ago, the second national, we missed the first national in six seconds.
Wow.
And last week, we have again the second national by the youngsters.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Sometimes it goes very good and it goes easy, and sometimes it's a little bit harder. This year, on my own loft, we didn't get the form really. And but Belgium makes everything good, and the same pigeons acting in all the places. So when I have a pair, they are acting in the UK, they are acting in my place, but also in Belgium, and also on both places, and also on your race. So the pairs are tested very, very. Wide and very different races.
Yeah, what caught my attention is that you mentioned you've done also so good on the young birds this year on your side, and I'm quite surprised to see that you actually this year you sent fairly young pigeons to Africa Pro. So first question will be, do you think that make a big a difference this year than the previous season in the Africa Pro competition itself? But also, I'm quite surprised to see that your young pigeons is performing so well already so early in the season. My expectation would have been that they actually coming through more to the second part of the season, because they're competing against 1 or 2 months older pigeons already at such a young age. But clearly, your young pigeons is making a big impact.
Yeah, and it's a little bit different. And difficult to find out what the right time is to send the youngsters with age of youngsters. And I tested also by other one-off races. I make selections of different ages from the youngsters, and we couldn't find really the best way. And you need also a little bit of luck that they are in a group of healthy pigeons. We have the transport, a lot of things happening before the pigeons are arrived, and if they get connected with a group of healthy pigeons, then maybe it's make the positive thing that they are now already there. But as I told you in the beginning of the conversation, it's very important at the end of the race that they are still there. So I hope, and maybe they keep going on, and it's about. Also a lot about molting and stuff like that, and I don't know exactly what's going to happening in South Africa with the climate, with the weather, how they act and how they react.
Yes, no, that is so true. So I think this year we can clearly already see there's a big improvement from how the overseas, in particular in this side now, European pigeons performing comparing to last year. Certainly, definitely is something to do with the aids we arrived them in this side, and the rest of the season for us is out there to see how it will unfolds throughout the season, as well as you say, when we get the longer races and when it get warmer and warmer here. This year it's going to be more a summer final. The final will end up in our summer, very warm climate environments and conditions. So yeah, it's going to be easy or better to see. Also, what we want to do from Africa Pro side is, because we know we deal with a fairly young group of pigeons, we want to take it very slowly in the beginning. Don't burn out young pigeons at the early phase, but rather to bowl them all the way up to the final. You mentioned the word luck a few times so far in your conversation, but this is what Africa Pro for me is about, is try to eliminate that luck factor. And this very same achievement so far you achieved this year is, we count your first 2 pigeons time combined. So that tells me there was great depth in your youngsters. To date. So, and you repeated 2 weeks. So for 2 different races, and that speaks volume. So from my side, well done and congratulations.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. We are very glad with that, because every result is what you're doing it for. So
yes. The last thing, if I may ask, is there special breeding on that? Is there a special bloodline you want to highlight, or
now what I see, my Hari is the family, my Hari family, my Hari family, and but the new Hari is an unbelievable breeder. For sure, he matched more top hens than in the beginning Hari did. Hari was my first pair, first, and we're going in the time and have more and more good pigeons. So new Hari is connected with a lot of good hens, but still he's unbelievable in breeding, because if you see on Mol in Belgium, almost all, so 80-90% of the national top pigeons, he is a grandfather. And that's also in your race. We have a few very good birds in your race already. He's also the grandfather. And beside that, I have also, that's also good to say, I buy a few hens also in the South Africa race, the other South Africa race. And they are also all 3 very successful. One of them gives good races in Belgium. The other hen is also given number 8 in the final. And the last hen, that's a Millie hen, or a red hen. I think it's Millie. Just and she is the mother. She is the mother of Red Hari. So I have a new icon in Belgium. He's under breeding now, and Red Hari is the father is from Beauty Hari with Birdie.
Wow! No, very impressive.
So, but the father is also a half brother of New Hari, because Hari is also from Beauty Hari. And I passed that hen to that cock, and that was Red Hari, and it's unbelievable. He was first world championship last year in the Belgian competition. So we're gonna still doing our best to select on all the lofts, not especially on one loft races, but all the racing lofts, same pairs, and the all-around pigeons. To get all-round pigeons who can do it in South Africa, who can do it in Belgium, and UK, and Netherlands. That's what we do. And the result pigeons come back every year to my breeding loft where we are now, and then a good one is spreading his children the next year through all the 5 lofts. So that's a very fast test system.
No, that's phenomenal. Just while guest, or do you want to? Who do you think is your biggest competition in Africa Pro this year? Any idea?
You mean the other fanciers?
Yes, other fancies, other teams. Who do you
No,
think are big names to look out for?
I see a list, and I see fanciers, big champions, and I see them more and more on one love races. So it's not necessary to give you names, because I think there are 15 or 20 very top racers in your competition. World famous racers, and they're all good. So it's not hard, not easy to win. It's not easy to have the first. So yes, that's why I'm extra glad that we have the venture of the week 2 times. Because
Yes.
if I look to that, there are a lot of very good racers joining your race.
Yes.
World famous racers.
No, thanks for that. Yeah, so just to let you know, my idea with Africa Pro is to rather to see if we can find a race, a one-off race where we can take a bit the luck, the gamble out of it, and make it more competitive, like more in a sport point of view. And um, and that's why I used your first 2 pigeons, and I limit everybody to send just a team of the same size within the team. And for me, I say to many guys, the only time I'll realize this concept is working. It's only a few years down the line when we can see there's consistency where your best races coming through, the big names. For example, if you follow the golf or tennis or Tour de France, is very much the same guys that always ends up in the top 10. And the moment when we can replicate that in the pigeon sport, in particular one-off races, then I know Africa Pro arrive at a good spot. But for now, my biggest challenge is to make sure everyone's pigeons is in the same form. And that means now what you mentioned earlier, the mold, the age group, and all those things. So that everyone is start on the same level with the pigeons, that there's no disadvantage to a certain group of pigeons comparing to the rest. But I think once we got that fine-tuned, it will be great to see who can repeat such a great success. Yes, yeah.
Yeah, it's also very important when all the ventures who join your race, that you give them an advice about age of sending, and about the moment of sending. It's very important that, because a lot of doing for fun to have pigeons on the race. And if you give all the ventures a good advice, it helps the process to keep a very good race. There's another thing that's also very positive. Without one-off races are getting more and more popular.
Oh yeah.
What I see, I do for a long time one-off races. When you get more and more pigeons on a race, and the group is getting bigger and bigger, there's a balance, there's a limit, because that's what I'm thinking. Because let's say if you have a very big group for more than 6,000-7,000 pigeons.
Yes.
Or maybe is the limit 3,000 pigeons. I don't know.
Yeah.
You see the very big group, they go training with that group.
Yeah.
And the group is coming home as a group.
Yes.
And they come home, and they come home, and they come home. And I think more and more pigeons don't learn anything, because they stay in the group, and that's how they came home. If a fancier on his home want to train his pigeons, he also do sometimes basket by basket liberation to let them learn something.
Yes.
And that's what I see, that when the group is so big, then you see at the end, when they have to search for home, they don't know their home. They didn't learn anything. but still it could be good pigeons. So
Exactly.
definitely the winners are good pigeons. No, I know for sure the winners
Yeah.
are good pigeons in big finals from 500-600 kilometers.
Yes, yes, yes.
But if the group make the steps
Yeah.
with thousands of them, and they make the steps from 50, 100, 200, 250, and then they learn nothing if the group is coming together at home. And that's the positive thing of your competition is not that big amount of pigeons. So they have to learn by their
Yes.
own. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree 100% with you. And that's why also it was important we don't publish it so much. And perhaps we can say to the fanciers, we do a lot of effort in the beginning in a very short distances. Those training flights we don't display, don't do live stream. Where we let the pigeons go in small packs, and we won't go for the longer distances if we're not confined with how they perform on even a short distance like 2 kilometers. So we will let them go in small groups. It's typical what you do for you and your at home as well in the club racing. They're so important because it's a matter of time and you might have an upset race. And those pigeons must be then able to orientate by themselves. Otherwise, they just become followers for the rest of the season. And that takes a bit of time and effort is to let them go. And there's challenges to it in a big one-off race. You can't make them sit too long in a truck and it heats up in the truck. So we plan it properly to the temperature of the time, the day, and we keep monitoring towards them in the truck, how they behave. But as far as very important to make sure all the pigeons have a chance to orientate by themselves and to grow them into that. We even feel only comfortable after we're going out of the 180 kilometer, even 200 kilometer mark. Then we start feeling now, okay, now all the pigeons is getting the rhythm and can start orientate on their own now. But taking it extremely slow at the start, slowly, progressively, and then eventually to the end, we can actually go faster and harder.
Yeah, correct.
Yeah,
that's very important. So you also train your pigeons basket by basket, something like that.
Yes, for sure. In the beginning of the season, as long as temperature allow us. Obviously, we look at the day temperature in the truck as well. You can't make them sit there when it's too hot. But luckily, fortunately, that's why Africa Pro pick our winter time. So the truck will go out before sunrise. And we by 8-9 o'clock, when the sun is still very low, we finish with all of that. So that the small group, small baskets and so on. And then Rowan, our trainer, he's very observative. So he will tell us, now this pigeons battled too much this morning. Tomorrow, I'm going to give them small baskets, basket by basket by basket. And he monitor every time how they come home to make next day's decisions. So it's nothing, we don't have a planned program for the entire season or year, day by day. We actually observe today what we do tomorrow. And a big role of it in the beginning is to liberate them in small groups, yes. So they can orientate well now.
Yeah, super.
Yeah. But that's possible if we have small groups, and that's why I want to limit our participants, teams in the future. So one day that we will have a waiting list, and we will say cut off, say for example, at 3,000 to 4,000 pigeons. Otherwise, we deal with the same problem as other ones also.
Yeah, that's for sure what I'm thinking. That's happening.
Yes. Yeah. But Jan, it's great speaking to you, and hopefully I can see you anytime soon at Sun City. You must just mark that week of 14, 15 October out for you for the Sun City final. It's going to be very great. It will be at the Super Bowl.
I was often in South Africa with that other South Africa race.
Yes.
And I never, I went in 2 places and 3 different hotels, but I never went to the place where you are now, because that's where it started. In that that place it started, and everyone was talking so positive about that place and everything what you can do there. It was they talk about very positive over that race that time. And that's also the place where Birdie had her success.
Yes.
So
yes.
yes, for sure. I think about it when I have time to come over and to join the race. Maybe I'll be there if
Yeah,
it's possible for me with my job, with my company,
for
to
sure.
join you. For sure, in the future, I will do. I will do.
100%. No, we
Yeah.
will anyway, regardless, send you a private invitation out for that as well, with your dates and hotels and everything where you can book anytime soon in the next 2 weeks. But yeah, no, we're looking forward to a great final. We're going to do a lot of effort. We'll be in that big Super Bowl as well. And at Sun City, as you say correctly, a nice place for everyone with good memories. And we just want to revive that old culture of one love
Yeah.
racing. Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
So great.
looking forward to that.
Thanks for your time, and
Yeah.
great speaking to you. All the
You're
best.
welcome. You're welcome.
And good luck for the rest of the season. I know it will go well. You had even last year a good pigeon. I remember we had to go and fetch it from some place, and they pull out all the flights. And we put it in a recovery, and when the flights recovered, that pigeon was in the top 50 on our final. So you have the depth in your breeding for sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good. Hey, wish you a lot of success with the rest of the time is coming for the race.
Thank you so much, Jan. All the best. Keep well.